Hello, my dear Franken-friends, and welcome to Spookyou, your one-stop shop for all things ghastly and ghoulish. I'm your host, Barnabas Vixen, and, well, we've got something very special for you tonight. You see, long ago, before this channel was ever created, there was another creation by our vivacious voiceover virtuoso, Trey Falco. The Tom Worley Cases Podcast. It follows Tom Worley, detective extraordinaire, as he solves cases in the town of Medimaville, where all manner of spooky and supernatural things are normal. Ghosts, ghouls, goblins, and geists? Check. Werewolves, shifters, and vampires? Oh my! You get the idea. Anyways, we wanted to share this with you all because it seems to fit so well into the narrative here on our channel, and so over the next couple of weeks we'll be uploading the episodes right here on Spookyou. So without further ado, on to tonight's story. Oh, and one more thing. Due to the nature of these podcasts, we will not be interrupting them in the middle with our typical sponsor breaks. Sorry to our dedicated sponsors out there, but we're sure you'll understand. Okay, here we go! Between the cracks and receding darkness of this world lies another, living and breathing, always shifting just out of view. It's there that the true terrors that haunt your deepest dreams dwell, and they're watching, waiting, ever vigilant. I'm Thomas Dean Worley, a consulting detective for the Medimaville Police Department, and these are my cases. Sometimes we're too blind to see the facts that sit so openly before our eyes, like a predator that's too focused on its prey to see the ledge it's being led to. As you'll no doubt observe in these cases that I'm about to share with you, an evil stench exudes from every piece of information that I've collected over these years. And by listening to this, you're listening at your own risk. There's no way to tell who or what may be watching, and they aren't too keen on having their dirty laundry aired to the public. They will find you. It's only a matter of time. So here I am, beaten and bruised in a poor excuse of a bar with a man who just sunk his teeth into the flesh of another man's throat after stripping it from the body. Not entirely sure how I managed to find myself in situations like this, but here we are. And that damn bartender still hasn't fixed my drink. Sure isn't working to get that tip tonight. The lynx, here in the flesh. And blood. God, there's a lot of blood. What's worse is the searing pain seems to be intensifying. I should probably sit down. But I've got to keep standing if I have any hopes of making it out of here in one piece. So you're here for me. Well, here I am. What's this all about? Why'd you have to go and turn crooks into a chew toy?
A simple casualty of war, my dear friend. You, of all people, should know that.
Friend? Who does this guy think he is? Better yet, how the hell am I going to get out of here? Back door? No, I'm sure he's got that covered. Otherwise, he wouldn't have strolled so casually through the front. I could try the window again, seeing as how it's still wide open from my unexpected run-in with it. If somebody's keeping an eye on the back, then they're surely watching the window, too. Invisibility's always an option. It would definitely give me an advantage.
Planning your escape, Tom? Surely there's no need for all that, pal. I simply want to talk is all. I mean you no harm.
Talk? You just waltzed in here and slaughtered an officer. I mean, he wasn't much of one, but he was still on the force. Now you expect me to believe you just came to talk?
Please, Tom, have a seat. I only wish to give you Yeti. He's obviously worth more to you. Think of it as my token of good faith. As for crooks, who do you think brought the phantoms to this place? He was playing you, Tom. The moment you showed yourself, he tipped them right off. Don't believe me? See for yourself.
The lynx gestured towards one of the windows opposite the one I went through. I hesitated before reluctantly walking over and looking through. It was dark, but I could just make out the silhouette of a body. Romero. Something glistened on the ground around him, and I could only assume it was blood.
I was on my way inside when I found Crooks savoring the crimson pool of his former friend.
Just happened to be in the neighborhood, huh?
On the contrary, I followed you from Linmar. A pity what happened to that poor photographer. And a disgrace that someone left my calling card with my name on it.
And suddenly, it was like everything clicked into place. The paw print, a calling card from the Lynx, placed on the body of a man he didn't kill by Neri, or more likely, Crooks and Romero. Framed for a murder he didn't commit. And now, the Lynx, suspecting the double-cross, checks in on the photographer, only to find his suspicions had come true. And who strolls into the picture but one desperate detective determined to shake loose a lead from a dead man? So, he followed me, hoping the dulcet detective would pick up the trail and lead him to his prey. This, of course, led him here to the Bombay Club. And while staking the place out, he observes a commotion through one of the windows before Crooks carries Romero from the bar, around the side, and into an alley, before finally sinking his teeth in and draining the poor creature of every drop of blood. Crooks was smarter than I thought. Too bad that still makes him an idiot.
I can see your gears turning, Tom. So, you see that I mean you no harm here.
It's a good thing Crooks and Romero left this matchbook behind. We never would have found ourselves in this bar, sharing a drink. The bartender finally set my glass down as the Lynx gestured for one himself. He pulled 2 cigars from his coat pocket and offered me one. The strike of the match marked the beginning of our meeting. So, Nuri's framing you. My question is, why do you want me to have him? Figured you'd kill him yourself.
Straight to the point. I like that about you. If you must know, I need Nuri taken care of. And I need to keep my hands clean for future situations. So, I figured, why not let Tom Worley handle this ruffian? Besides, his little incident with the photographer, it touched a nerve. He'll suffer worse behind bars than he ever will in death. And that's all I want for him. So what do you say, Tom? Do you want Neri or not?
There's no way it's as straightforward as this. I know the Lynx wants something. He doesn't seem like the giving out of the kindness of your own heart kind of guy. But this is a chance at a solid lead on Neri, and I couldn't pass it up. Even though my gut was telling me that this was going to come back and bite me in the end. I puffed on my cigar a few minutes more, mulling over the pros and cons of making deals with the devil. You know, from where I'm sitting, the price of my soul seemed to be dwindling, and taking Neri down was the only thing that mattered. Yeah, okay. I'll hear you out.
You're a smart man, Tom. I knew you'd listen. All that crack about Delmont and West First, it was just a ruse. Neri's held up out near Dromer's. Best way in is through one of those side entrances. He uses it as a front for his operations, and there's always fellas coming in and out. Slip in, grab your man, and slip out. Shouldn't be too difficult for one with your capabilities. You may want to get that wound checked out, though.
The pain was still radiating throughout my abdomen, and the room was swimming before my eyes. Fortunately, I think it finally peaked. Unfortunately, I don't see it subsiding anytime soon. I'll be fine. It's nothing I haven't handled before.
Oh, but that's no ordinary wound. There's phantom toxin coursing through your body right now, pal. It's a special concoction they developed themselves. Besides burning like hellfire, it also interacts with your abilities. To put it shortly, I don't believe you could turn invisible right now, even if you really wanted to.
Woozy but determined, I concentrated with all my might, but I remained as solid as ever. This could be a problem. I mean, I'm resourceful, but I've been relying on my power for so long. I've gotten rusty in my time. I don't suppose you have any suggestions?
Well, as a matter of fact, actually, there's my cue to leave. We'll have to pick this up another time. It's been a pleasure chatting with you, Tom. It truly has.
The sound of the police sirens grew louder as the Lynx gave a wink before making his way towards the back of the bar and out the door, disappearing into the night. A few moments later, Clark, of all people, walked in.
Tom! What on earth happened here? It's a bloodbath!
Of course Clark would be the one to take the call. He is a homicide detective after all. And I had forgotten about the remains of Crooks soaking into the floor. But I don't have time for all this. I've got to hurry and head over to Dromer's. Neary isn't giving me the slip this time. I've been counting the days for an opportunity like this to come up. I brushed past Clark and towards the front door.
You can't just leave. This is a crime scene, and you're a witness. Or something. You were the first one here.
Look, I appreciate you being all Boy Scout about this, but I really don't have the time right now. You're a smart guy. You'll figure it out. Ask the bartender over there. He seems pretty chatty. I motioned towards the man behind the bar, still scrubbing away at that glass of his. I wish he'd put that much effort into making my drinks. I continued out the door, and a voice shouted along behind me.
Wait! Wait!
What, Clark? What is it now? Can't you see I'm in a hurry here?
You're hurt. Now I definitely can't let you go. It's protocol. You know how it is.
I don't give a damn about... Clark's face swam in and out of focus, a dark vignette creeping into the corners of my vision as I started growing colder. My limbs started to go numb. I lost my footing and had a great view of the night sky before everything went dark. And I could just make out the fading plea of Clark's voice.
Tom? Tom! Hold on! I've got you. Just stay with me.
Thanks for listening to the Tom Worley Cases podcast. If you like what you hear, then make sure you head on over to our Facebook page and give us a like at facebook.com/The Tom Worley Podcast, or follow us on Twitter at Podcast Worley. This episode was written and produced by Trey Falco. The voice of Tom Worley was Trey Falco. The voice of the Lynx was Joshua Oglesby. The voice of Clark was Jake Alexander. The main theme song for the Tom Worley Podcast is Noir by No Copyright Sounds. Other songs used are Night on the Docks and Just As Soon by Kevin MacLeod. Noir can be found by visiting the channel No Copyright Sounds for YouTube on YouTube. Night on the Docks and Just As Soon can be found by visiting incompetech.com. That's INCOMPETECH.com.